Hello and welcome back to another episode of TACHES Teaches. I'm Tash, and today I'd like to talk about sequential switches in the grid. In the modular world, a sequential switch is a utility module that allows you to send one signal to 2 to 4 other destinations, or 2 to 4 signals to a single destination. But instead of being like a multiple, which sends those signals or receive those signals all at one time, a sequential switch needs a trigger or a clock message to know when to move to the next stage. So you would put in either one input here to 4 outputs, or 4 inputs to 1 output, and every time the trigger input receives a message, it will then cycle. There's a lot of great uses for this, such as creating arpeggiators, or creating a drum sequencer, or just making flat out weird synth sounds where each new note is played on a different oscillator, or each new note is sent to a different effect. Now, these devices actually allow you to use it as 1 input to 4 outputs, or 4 inputs to 1 output, just in the same way. But in the grid, there are 2 devices. So without further ado, I'm going to jump into the grid now, and I'm going to show you how to use the split and the merge modules to get the same functionality as a sequential switch. So the first thing I'm going to do is load up an instance of the polygrid. And the devices we are looking for today are the merge and the split. And they may not look like much at first, but what you can do with these is really quite tremendous. So let's start with the split. No, let's start with the merge first then. Okay, so right now what we can see here is a 2 to 1, which means we're taking 2 signals and sending out 1. And we can change the amount of signals coming in here by clicking on the device and choosing how many input ports. So I'm going to pick 3 for now. And I think what might be quite nice is to create a sort of arpeggiated pattern on this synth. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a pitch in module, and we're going to do something a bit similar to what I did the other day with the chords. We're going to say, let's quantize this as well. So we're going to have a C major scale going in to the first output. Then below, we're going to have another quantizer and another quantizer, but we're going to then take a transpose, and we're going to take the same pitch into here, and we're going to put it up 3. If you remember in my previous video, this is how we create all of the correct chords for a major scale. And then on the third one, we're going to put it up 7. We're going to take the same pitch, we're going to put it in here, attach it up, and cool. So now, if we take a gate signal so we can actually hear what's going on, let me just turn the volume down. If I were to attach the output of this switch into the pitch input, still nothing's happening. And that's because there's no information to tell the switch when to move to the next stage. If I were to swap this out, we can see that we've got a different pitch there. But we need to be able to move through this at some sort of rate. And what we need there is in this top section, we need some sort of, what do they call it here, a select in, a control input port. And there are a number of ways we could do this. But I think one of the best ways is to just use the gate signal. And the point of that is it means that we will only progress to the next stage when there has been a new note. And the way that we can do that is by taking a counter, and seeing as we have 3 outputs here, we change the counter to 3, and then we can attach up the output to the counter. And as soon as we then attach the counter to the select in, we get something that sounds almost right, but you can see that it's not quite correct pitch-wise, and we can see multiple notes being highlighted at the same time. That's because we need to now click on the select and choose wrap. Cool, so now that wrap is making sure that it only goes to 1 signal at a time. It sort of squeezes it tightly in. If I turn it off again, it's a bit weird. So now that we've got that wrap on, that means I can press any note, and we're then getting an arpeggiation with just a single note press. And if we were to then change the speed of the gates, it still works the same. Why don't we change the... go down minus now. Really quite cool what you can do with just a single press. Okay, so let's leave that for a second, and let's make a new grid patch, and we're going to try the other way round now. Oh, getting ahead of myself there. So this time we're going to take a split, and what we had there was a merge module, but what we're going to do now is we're going to take one gate source, we're going to put that in, and this is going to be what's driving our envelope. We're also going to take maybe 4 sine waves. Let me close this up. We're going to change the pitch of these so that they're all an octave higher than each other. There we go. And what we want now is 4 output ports. So we're going to select that, and we're going to select the first output port to trigger this gate, the second output port to trigger this gate, the third, envelope. And again, we have no cycling through here yet, and that's because we have no message. And we might as well just use the same gate here. So if we select a counter, select 4 and attach, once again, we're only going to be seeing these double note situations. So what we can do is do wrap. And now if we listen, what's going on? Oh, sorry, we haven't got the output selected. Okay, let's connect these up with a mixer. And now, in theory, and these could then, of course, be changed to different oscillators. We go for a triangle. And as we said before, by using a gate signal to progress it, that means that it won't move forward unless there's a new note. So what we could do now is we could bring in a similar thing that we had in the first case. So let's just highlight all of this. And let's bring this into our second patch. Let's close this up. This can be our triggering section. And now let's play with the pitch. So what we can do here, let's mute it. What we can do here is say pitch out to here, pitch out to here, pitch out to here and here. And now we're going to be cycling through the different pitches using our gate input. So now, turn the volume on again. And because we have 3 against 4, we're getting a pattern that's a little bit more interesting. If I turn off the keyboard collecting here. Why don't we speed this up a bit? Oh, I've done 16. Sorry. Now this is a really lovely way of creating a bit of interest. We could also then try sending these signals to a different place before they then go to the mixer. So why don't we take a distortion module, and what else have we got? Maybe a delay of some sort? Where are we? Delay. Oh, there we go. Take a mod delay. And some sort of, maybe an all pass. So now we're going to pick a merge. And let's select the outputs here. Let's Let's mute it again for a sec. Select the outputs here. Oh, we've got to make it 4. Let's stop it from going to the mixer for now. Cool, so now there's nothing cycling this through yet. But what we can now do is using a split, we can now send this to multiple places. So let's send this to these 3 spots. Oh. Okay, let's bring you in there. And let's take a mixer. Oh, we've already got one. In, and in. And now we're only being sent through to the first one. So why don't we attach another counter here. We can take another of these counters. And what becomes really quite lovely about this, other than that clicking sound, is that when you start layering switches that are 3 against 4, against 5, against 7, you start to then create these beautiful polyrhythms that are just constantly shifting. Why don't we change, instead of having just a pitches module here, we can use and pitches. Slow down the phase like we looked in the previous video yesterday on pre-chords. What am I searching for? Phase. Scalar. Had a bit of a brain melt there for a sec. And we're really starting to get these very interesting rhythms happening. Okay, so why don't we try this in a context of using it as a drum sequencer. I'm going to load up here, let's find some sort of kick. I like these kick minimals. So I'm going to take a kick, let's find a closed hat. I really don't get what's wrong with my... Oh, that's not a very nice one. That'll do. And let's find a clap. Again, I think I like this clap. Yeah, I'll take that. And then let's take some sort of conga sound. Conga 808. Let's see what we've got. Okay, that'll do. Okay, so using a similar approach to what we had there, we can say that if we were to take a merge module, in fact, no, sorry, what we need is a split module. So let's take that split and then let's make that into... No, sorry, we're going to do it with the merge. Let's make this 8 steps. And what we're going to do is we're going to send the output. Oh, no, I understand what I'm doing now. Okay, so we're going to send the output of the kick to the 1 and the 3. We'll just basically do it like we would do a regular pattern. So let's take this hat, and that will go on the off beats. And then the clap. Because we've already got a kick on there, what we can do, and I'm going to talk about this more in a later video, is use the add function. And that will just allow us to add things to the beat. So we got and then a kick, hat, and then this should be the clap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Oh, there we go. And we'll do the clap again. Sorry, it's a bit early in the morning. It would also be probably quite nice to add a low tom to, let's go. Oh, no, I think, what? Boom, tsk, 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 tsk. Okay, that will do. That will do. In fact, why don't we do a little tom here then? Cool. So now all we have to do is take a gate signal that we can do at 8 notes, and we'll just trigger this constantly. Have it triggering all the time. And then if we select the same gate, let's take a counter here to move through these 8. Oh, we're going into the wrong hole there. Cool. And now we put this on wrap mode. In theory, we should have a drum sequencer. So let's take another audio out. Very cool. I don't really like that tom, so let's take another kick. And you can see how you can create some really quite cool patterns using this approach. Don't like that B in there, let's remove that. And the possibilities really are endless. Quite like this actually. Anyways, that about does it. Hope you enjoyed this video on sequential switches, and leave a comment below with any cool techniques that you have regarding switching audio sources. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to like and subscribe, and if you'd like to take your support a step further, then consider becoming a patron too. As always, happy Wednesday and happy creating.